You're listening to
Tipsy Book Reads.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Jess.
And we're tipsy.
Too many books on my TBR. Too many books on my TBR.
Yeah. This podcast is like a book club for the antisocial. We make a drink inspired by the book we read and talk crap about life and fictional characters. We really hope you listen and drink along.
Side effects of listening to this podcast may include reading vivaciously, extreme bouts of laughter, tipsiness from craft cocktails, talking shit about life and fictional characters. Listen at your own risk.
Hi, friend.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. What's up?
Should we address the elephant in the room?
Sure.
So we sucked last episode in terms of knowing what was going on.
Did we even read the book?
No.
We did, but...
Did we? We went back and reread it at a slower pace, and I physically read it. And I understood a lot more
Yeah.
and thought, damn, we're kind of stupid.
This is why we don't listen to things at 2.5 times speed.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair, actually. Anyway, so I have a screenshot of when I reread the first part, and I called what happened.
She did. Right around the same time that we stopped reading, too.
Yeah, I said, watch it be the king in her brain, the nightmare. And what did I say? That he was going to take over, or they were going to become one.
Yeah.
Because of the quote.
Yeah.
Okay. Just saying, I did. I'm so sorry that I...
Did not pick up on that prior.
It's like the day after, too.
It
we
was.
recorded.
It was very shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What you drinking?
The chalice.
Oh. So am I
It
gonna...
is a white wine sangria.
Clink.
So I did muddled fruits and white wine and orange liqueur and peach liqueur and top it with either club soda or lemon lime soda, whatever you got.
This is the drink of the summer.
Yummy.
This...
Very refreshing.
Is this from when they like tell the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Am I gonna tell the truth now?
I hope you do anyways.
Always. That's so good.
Yummy. That
It's
is actually
refreshing.
very delicious.
Citrus. I'm sure it's way better than what
Yeah.
Prince Asshole gave them all. I don't even remember his name. Oh, this is gonna be a problem. So we're obviously sitting
On the bar?
on the bar.
Instead of behind the bar?
So this might be fun.
No, we're just kicking our little feetsies.
Kicking our little feetsies because Raven makes me kick my little feetsies.
Oh my gosh, I love
I
Raven.
love Raven.
Okay, so where did we leave off? We did read it this time.
Yeah, but I went back and reread it all the way through.
I know.
So where did we leave off? Oh, I'm B-reeling. Well, I guess we gotta be real. I don't remember the last time I did a B-reel.
Does it show up as a video?
Is it a video?
It was counting 33 seconds.
No, you have that many seconds to.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Okay, where did my notes end? Okay, my notes ended when Raven was infected.
Okay. Yeah.
And I said, I'm annoyed I had to stop. Night predictions.
Okay.
And I didn't have any predictions at the time.
No, we did not. So she's at Castle U then.
Yeah. Okay, so we all knew though. Okay, hold on. Sorry. You and I just said so 1,000 times. Cut it out. I'm telling myself that, not you. Okay. Anywho. Try not saying a word after you've been saying it.
Right.
Here we are. We knew Raven was infected,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
From the start.
For sure. And we also knew that, okay, so I was a little bit confused about the whole Emery Elm thing when they were at the castle, not Castle U, the other castle, initially with the dinner thing.
Yes, me
and
too.
it was Emery that went out in the hall with her, right? And then the older brother stepped in.
Correct.
then when we got to Castle U, I was confused about Emery and Elm and what was going on. But I understand.
Emery is the brother of Raven. Raven? Yes. Right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because why would he keep going back? Elm is the brother to the prince.
Yes.
Yeah. Emery is not Elm's brother.
So why does Emery stay at...
Because the king makes him. Because they think that he's...
But as he's degenerating,
Yeah.
Emery...
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you mean. But Elm is instructed to control Emery with his scythe when they are together.
Yes.
That's what was happening at
Yes.
the dinner. Gotcha. Okay, yes.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay. It is very confusing, and I wish I did a character breakdown, but I will do one for the next book?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah.
Okay, we're struggling a little bit this book, and it's not because of the book, it's because of our brains. Right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm off.
But
I feel off.
okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
So let's dive into, as things go on, there's all these quotes interlaced from this old book of elders, right? The old book of
The
whatever, the tree book
Yeah.
thing. And she knows all of these stories from somewhere. And people kind of write it off as bedtime stories, but it seems like there's more to it than that. And then we come to learn that the new king, when he took over, he basically erased the history of the other king, right?
Correct.
And he kind of changed the wording of the book about these cards to make it seem like the people that have the magic are bad. And the healer at Castle U had even made a mention of, a long time ago, people with magic weren't considered bad.
Yeah.
They just had different gifts. And he kind of alluded to the fact that the wording was changed and made it seem like such a bad thing. You know, so the way that his ancestors were taught, they were taught how to use magic as opposed to just hiding it, right?
Yeah.
And then I think it was Elm that was talking about the history of Castle U and was talking about the Shepherd King must have been a U because what other castle is there in those lands? The only castle is the one that is in ruins.
Wasn't it Emery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So
He's right, though.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
So it seems that Raven's ancestors were the rulers of the land prior to the Rowans. And then the monster or the nightmare said something about, what did he say? He said, what did he call the king? He called him the current king, King Rowan. He called him...
I don't remember.
It wasn't conqueror. It was more derogatory than that. But he basically alluded to him wiping out the people and the history and stuff. So
yeah, in the history, and that's so incredibly important because there's this missing piece for all of these people who are struggling that don't have their history to rely on. And you know us, books are political.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's, I think, incredibly important.
Yeah, the
especially right
censorship is such a key theme.
I love that. That was well done. It's interesting, too, how the entire history and the lack of it is such a key factor in her understanding everything, too, right? Because she's only getting these little bits and pieces. And the comparison I thought was really cool at the end, how she has been like grasping at straws for any information, and she asks some questions, but it's like she's not asking the right questions. And then when finally Raven and the king monster, the nightmare, chat in her brain, the nightmare tells them everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's an open door.
Yeah, which is interesting
Mhm.
because all along he's kind of been pushing her to tell
Mm-hmm.
them about him,
Yeah.
which is somewhat surprising. You
Mm.
would think that he would want it to stay a secret,
Right.
but he, the whole time, even about her degeneration and how
Mhm.
he's, you know,
Taking over.
becoming more forefront in her mind, he has kind of been prompting her to talk about that with Raven.
I would agree.
So he kind of always has trusted Raven in that,
Yeah,
which
that's true.
his motives are a little curious, you know?
Do you think it's because he is an elm or not an elm? I can't keep track. The tree?
You.
You? Do you think it's because he is a you? And
Maybe.
especially when they were all together that one time, when the brother escaped and was ended back in their house, that was another time when he was like pushing her to tell them.
That's true. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Just a quick side note, the freaking rock that takes the blood that holds the cards, wild.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and that whole scene where she was like, I want to try it, and he's like, no. She's like, but I need to know how to do it.
Yeah,
like,
in case I have to do it.
This isn't like a, oh, I can do it too moment. It's like, I need to know how to do it too.
Yeah.
But wow, that was so cool though. And where the rocks.
But I did have a question.
Okay.
Why can't Elm use the rock?
Because he's not, he is infected.
He is infected.
No, he's not. Elma's infected. Elma's not infected. I don't think.
Then why the fuck is he staying with the use?
Because he was abused in the castle.
I thought that was because he was infected.
No, it's because they were assholes. I don't think so. Maybe you're right.
Because isn't he also degenerating?
No, he just has the card.
They always just talk about Emery's degeneration.
Yes.
I don't know why I get Emery and Elm so freaking confused in my mind.
They both start with E, and everyone's name is very confusing. That's my only, I feel like, gripe about this book.
Yeah,
because I cannot keep track of who is who.
Yeah, because now that you say that, there's been so many times where I thought Emery was Elm and Elm was Emery. Okay.
Yeah, like I love this book. I want to make that very clear. I stayed up till like almost 2 a.m. finishing this book because it was so good.
It's so good, and it's nothing like anything I've read.
Yeah, and I really struggled though with the names. The names, I was like, okay.
And I love the tree and the plant names, but some of them are a little too similar. I'm getting it mixed up in my brain, and it's probably a me problem, but
I don't think so, because I also am having an issue.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need a character breakdown.
Yeah. I need the family trees, and I need it in front of me.
Yeah, like why isn't there a family tree in a book that's so much about trees that are the family's names?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there should be for sure.
I don't know. Okay, let's chat about. She knows where the cards, part of the cards are.
Yeah.
The missing cards, not all of them, but one of them. I don't remember which one. And so they go on this crazy mission. How do we feel about that mission? I was scared the whole time. I thought it was hilarious that she had a problem with pants. That whole scene was so funny. And then she walks out and Raven just like slowly blushing.
Stunning. I love it.
I love it.
I love Jesper.
Me
love her.
too.
Absolutely love her.
Me too. I need more.
Yeah.
Jesper. Like Jesper's little side comments are so few.
But they're fantastic.
And
I love it. So something about that mission that really fascinated me was the mist. We got a little bit more of the mist and what the charms do and how the salt is the magic in the air. And how when Jesper lost her charm, she was losing it.
Yes. She was losing her mind. So does the mist kill them, or do they lose their mind and then it's like a degenerating in themselves? That's something that maybe I missed.
Maybe.
Or we get more later.
We'll get more. But it was fascinating because she didn't die, however many minutes it was, by the time Elspeth got her Raven's charm. Also, which is a snake's head with fangs, so that he can off himself if he gets caught before, right? That was
exactly.
yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe the whole setup that the dad was there.
yeah.
That was such a coincidental, but was it? You know, because they were all just happened to be
Yeah, they took
there.
a side quest off of the main
Like,
path.
oh, we met up and blah blah blah.
That's weird.
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was crazy, but I knew Elm was gonna see her eyes, her scary little yellow cat eyes. You know, I just picture her as like a black cat.
Yeah.
Like Sabrina's cat.
Yeah. Scary. But so Jesper, the charms, very fascinating. So the charms hold off the mist, but Raven was explaining to Elspeth why they don't need charms because they are the salt in the air. They are the magic type of thing.
Yeah. Which I found fascinating.
Very fascinating.
So they're like immune to the mist.
And I guess the mist is stronger in some places because she always talks about being able to taste the salt in the air at certain times and places.
Like the tomb.
Yeah.
She could, when they went into the tomb, she could taste the salt in the air. That's a very good point.
And also it seems, I don't know, she explained it similarly when Raven used the nightmare card on her. There was salt in her mouth as if she had taken a cold swig of water or something, and then it was like everything was cold in her mind. Or
just interesting. Oh, there's also a point, I think it was in the last episode though, when he used the nightmare card the first time, and she was like, "Did you hear anything?" And he's like, "Just a faint tapping."
Yeah.
And it's like, that was the nightmare.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But okay, back to this carriage scene of highwaymen situation. That was so well written. It was crazy. Everyone was fighting. I could totally see it completely clear in my brain. And then when she tries to save Jesper and she goes into the mist and that whole thing, how nervous were you when the prince caught her?
Yeah, that was bad.
I was like, he knows it. He knows it's them. He has to. He has to. And then the broken wrist.
Yeah, that is quite a giveaway.
The whole next scene, the next day when they come back, I kept like yelling at my book, "Put your hand." Do they not have pockets?
Seriously.
Put your hand in the pocket.
Put your hand behind your back.
Put your hand behind your back. Hide it.
Ugh. Something.
It was very scary.
And how he was not. He kept calling his person that beat him up a guy, even though he knew it was her. He was too chicken to admit he got beat by a girl.
Prideful.
Also, her fighting her dad was
wild.
wild as well.
Oh, yeah. And having to call upon the nightmare, but not giving it enough where she actually killed him.
Yeah.
She only hurt him. That was pretty. So she had some control there.
Yeah, she
I
did.
think.
Yeah.
Right? Or did the nightmare?
Also, the nightmare, I think, does listen to her.
Yeah.
When she says,
yeah,
use some restraint. I think he does. Also, freaking Raven breaking Prince whatever asshole's wrist. He said, it wasn't about you, but it kind of was.
And then everyone leaving, and it's just Elspeth and Elm left over. And Elspeth says, "What just happened?" And Elm is like, "Justice," basically, you know? But I find that fascinating that he comes up so much. You can tell he's watching her. And I thought it was a great setup that he was the one that was almost killed by her dad to witness her, you know, giving away to the nightmare. And then the next scene of him being left with her to see Raven's reaction. And then it just continues on. He has a very careful, close eye on her. And I'm the whole time, you know, he's so suspicious. But I'm like, you're suspicious of the wrong. individual. You're suspicious of Elspeth, but you need to be suspicious of the scary night monster nightmare inside of her.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
it's
he
not
doesn't
her.
know that exists.
I know,
yet.
but I'm just saying, like, you're right to be suspicious, but not in that way. I get it.
Yeah.
Do we need to take a little breaky break?
We do.
Okay, let's take a little break, and we'll come back and talk about
The maiden card. Let's talk about
let's
that.
talk about the maiden card in Ione.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Be back.
We're back.
And better than ever.
Okay, so Ione and the maiden card is absolutely wild.
Mm-hmm.
So when it always talks about Ione at the first half of the book, it talks about how her and Elspeth are thick as thieves.
Mm-hmm.
They're little besties. And Ione is very bubbly, very, I don't know, it's just the
Like
way it
free-spirited.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And this whole trade that they made for the maiden card seemed very out of character for Ione. And Elspeth was definitely thrown for a loop by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so she's set to marry the prince, the crown prince. And
Yikes.
but she shows up at Castle U and she's a totally different person. She's very cold as ice. She's very, very stunning. She describes her as the most beautiful person she's ever seen. It remade her. It describes the maiden card as remaking you. And I guess you don't have to carry the card on your person to use the magic for it. Like,
Yeah, that's wild.
which same, I guess, with any of them. Like, say Elm uses his scythe. If he taps it 3 times, it's just on until he turns it back off. So I guess she turned it on, left it on. But I wonder what the significance of that is, because it mentions several times that she doesn't have the card on her.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
She doesn't have the ability to turn it off.
Right. She's stuck in her maidenness. And it always talks about the balance and how the more you use certain cards, the more damage it does. It talks about Elm, the more he uses the scythe, it's very, very excruciatingly painful for him. But it doesn't delve very much into the side effects of the maiden, but we know that she's stuck with it on until whenever she goes back, which is interesting. And I want to know more about her choice to not have the card on her person. But regardless, you can tell she does not care for her betrothed. She seems to actually despise him.
And him, her.
Yep, they despise each other. And even though she is this cold, calculated person now, she still seems to be in Elspeth's corner. She has still made excuses for Elspeth as far as the risk situation, and even just kind of giving Elspeth a reason to explain or not explain, whatever. She still seems like she's in her corner despite being this totally remade person.
Agreed.
So I think I don't know, it's very interesting. I hope we get a lot more from her character, because I'm extremely intrigued by her and the effects of all of this, you know? But where was I going with that?
I really do hope that she's in it more next book.
I think she will be a key player, because I think she'll be like, where the fuck is my cousin? Who has taken over? Like, and then be maybe an insider because she is betrothed to the crown prince, you know?
Yeah.
But we'll get more into predictions later.
Okay.
But I just think that it's setting that up to be something for sure. And it talks so much about the negative effects about the other cards, but it hasn't talked that much about the negative effects of the maiden. So,
Just that they have a heart of ice.
yes,
That they have no feeling. Which she had been described as having a lot of feeling.
right.
So.
Okay, so speaking of Ione, let's jump to the use of the chalice card and the use of Prince Rowan's use of the scythe on Ione, who is under the maiden, to then use the chalice, right?
Yes. Which is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, because it's
Magic within magic,
magic within magic. Yeah.
Yeah. So he uses his scythe on her for her to go get them to drink this wine, which will then lead to them having
Telling the
to,
truth.
Right.
They have to.
And apparently it's a name tradition, and apparently they used to do this as kids.
Which is
All purposely.
awful.
Yeah, that's wild. It's basically truth or dare, but you can't lie.
It's incredibly toxic.
So they all sit down and they have this wine, and then they all put together what the fuck's actually going on, and it's no good.
No. I mean, Ione is in danger. Someone save her.
Literally, that poor girl.
And
He's
then
cheating on her. He's abusing her. He's using all of this magic against her without consent.
yeah.
And that was Raven's big thing, is when he uses the nightmare card on people, they've always consented.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he didn't use it on Elspeth previously, because she specifically said no.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah.
And then that's also why it comes up later of he was battling with it because he used it against her wishes during the
Yeah.
chalice game.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can help you through this. I can help you lie through it.
Right. Which I understand his motives, but also she clearly said no.
And then the nightmare
Pops out.
pops out and is like, get out of her head.
no.
She said no. And he
Yeah,
flies
that
back,
was
bro.
freaking
That's
wild.
crazy.
That
And then
was-
she pukes blood out everywhere. That was gross.
That was gross.
That was gross.
So the chalice can't be used against Raven. So he's
Nope.
like,
Damn.
but
That's crazy.
it does show that the crown prince is very smart, despite being
An
a
evil.
evil person.
Yeah.
He is very smart, and yikes.
Mm.
But all
Mm.
of their questions and the nightmare coaching her through how to think more about the question and kind of not to answer unasked questions.
Right.
He was like, he asked what you did to your wrist, not where or how or whatever he said.
Yes. That was so good. That was so good. And then that leads to craziness. But let's back up a little bit to the market scene
Okay.
with
The magic kid.
the magic kid, because that kind of goes with the mist that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So they're all in that market. And honestly, it also plays into how horrible the prince is.
Mhm.
Okay. Because he's going to do this horrible, apparently upholding the law
Just a show of power.
show of power is what it is, right? So we see that dynamic. We see what's the healer called? Their name in the book. Okay. I keep doing this.
Dude, the one with the claw though?
Yes.
That's freaking crazy.
Yes, the claw. The claw.
Wolverine.
We see his dynamic in all of this so much that we haven't experienced yet before. I mean, the people of the city and all of that.
Yes. And that was so fascinating when Elspeth was talking about their reaction and how they were not loving the violence.
Not at all.
It was very tense.
They were
It was
forced to be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just showed that they're not in,
On this.
yeah.
Mm.
And they probably don't like the Rowans. It's more of a show of power and more of fear and more of like President Snow vibes
Mm.
and how ruling out of fear,
Mhm.
not like love of the people.
Right. It was so intense, and then we got to see Elm actually stand up to his brother, and we got to see how painful it is for him to use that card. So that was really important. Along with Elsbeth saving the kid, we think. I just had to give Rachel props for the scene of Elsbeth and this kid running through the trees. And then it flashes as if she's running with hundreds of kids. And at this point, we don't really know what that signifies, but it comes up later. We realize it's all the kids that were probably like almost saved
Yeah, because
or saved and then murdered. Like,
or
in the
they had also
fire and-
alluded that the U's might have a secret stash of kids they've been saving.
also that too. But I think that it was like a flashback of history
Yeah.
because of the king in her brain.
Yeah.
I thought that was so chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking
It was.
and sad, but it's also like all these kids are running with her to help her.
Yeah.
Oh,
And also what it could lead to
Mhm.
how history repeats
Foreshadowing.
itself and
Mhm.
all of that as well.
Yes, I love that. Okay. We got to pick up our pace here.
Yes.
Some of my key moments that I loved, and then I would love to hear some of yours. The fireplace scene when she finally tells him that she's degenerating and Raven drops to his knees. We get to see so many times how much Raven loves her
Yeah.
in his own way of breaking the wrist and then getting so irritated at her. But then when she's like, I'm degenerating, he just like breaks down. He's like, what can I do?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Without even knowing everything.
Yep,
He
just
just instantly.
tell me. Yeah. Ugh. And then the whole chalice scene happening at the twins' birthday is also kind of crazy, where the uncle is there, and that sets
Frickin'
up
uncle.
how horrible he is. But yeah, the uncle betraying his niece that his wife gave everything up to save. And then he just throws it away because why? The power of the king? The power of the prince? I don't understand that. Do you?
I think the prince was holding over his head that he knew that Elspeth was infected, so he was going to.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think he's never had much love for Elspeth, and it was basically you die and your daughter loses her marriage to me, or you give up her.
Yeah.
So,
She's always drawing the short straw.
Yeah.
So we get all of that. I mean, even before then, though, when my girlie gets sick after vomiting all over the place, we finally see Elm understand everything, and I think the acceptance, also the whole. Okay, sorry, the whole way that Raven and the nightmare were speaking in her mind. And how trusting the nightmare all of a sudden became of Raven. And I do think that's heavily played into the fact that they're family, possibly. But that was crazy. But the WTF moment was when she used last words.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
what
like,
the fuck do you mean?
I'm
stopping
sorry.
this book right here. I was like, I'm over it.
Is she dying? Like, is she literally gonna die?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And that was all well done. I mean, the whole thing of her
Yeah.
fighting, the prince being crazy in the claw, trying to get her, that whole thing was so well done.
And I was like, no way it's her that dies. And he's about to go off on this mission. Maybe he freaking dies. I was like, no way. Absolutely not.
Oh, it's so good.
It is so
He's
good.
trying to get to her through the card. And
yes. And the
then
dad
the
gives
nightmare.
her the well card. So they only have one more card to find. So they're so freaking close.
Yeah.
They're so close.
So close.
And then the fucking prince is like beating her to a pulp. He goes crazy.
Almost kills her.
Yeah. Oh my God, the
Would
bashing
have
her
killed
head
her.
against the freaking brick.
I think she would have died if it
Her
wasn't for the
head is-
nightmare.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was insane when Raven shows back up and thinks she's dead, realizes it's alive, and then sees the eyes. Just the roller coaster of emotions that he was experiencing. Like, the person he loves is dead. No, she's not. She's not there anymore. Like, the up and down, absolutely wild.
So
And
much. And then having to explain it to everyone.
Yeah. And then the nightmare being like, all right, here's what's going to go down, because her last wish was, you have to help save them. And he says 100%, I promise. And he says, here's what's going to go down. None of you guys were here. Let me take the fall for this.
Yeah.
This is what is going to happen.
Yeah, period. What other way?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was so good. And then the jail scene, and it's them and the monster
The two kings.
and the king, and they're and then the monster bargains for the brother to be let
Yes.
go.
Oh, because he knows where the card
card-
is. Because
because
he
he
put
put
it
it
there.
It was so good. Y'all were right. Okay, I'm glad we listened to you.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Absolutely.
Should I look to make sure we got everything?
Surely we did. I mean, surely we probably didn't, because there's so much to talk
There's
about.
So much.
But you get it. You get it.
No, I think we're good. Oh my gosh. Predictions. I mean, what is there even to predict?
We know Elspeth
Elspeth.
is still in there. I think Ioni's going to become a key player. She's going to be the inside person secretly against frickin' Prince Rowan. And I don't know how they're going to get this other card away from the actual king because they need it to heal Emery and Raven and everybody. And I don't freaking know because now the Nightmare finally has a body for his soul. Is he just going to give it up so willingly for Elspeth? But she's still in there.
She's still in there.
And they're not going to give up hope on that.
No.
Or maybe they will put his soul in King Rowan's body.
That would be sick. I would like that. I think it's important that he mentioned she's asleep. I think that's going to play a key role.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how yet, but I think that's
Yeah.
important. I don't know. I'm right there with you. So good.
It's so
That's
good.
so good.
There's so many ways this could go.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Okay.
Okay.
What keeps you up and what's keeping you awake? I have mine.
Go for it.
What's keeping me awake is The Last of Us.
Oh my gosh.
Did you watch the recent episode, the third one?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's keeping me awake. Or up. Keeping me home. And then the other one, I just finished reading I Who Have Never Known Men. And that was wild. That was so good. It's essentially about these women who wake up in their underground and have no memories of what happened, and then they have to like escape.
Incredible.
It's wild.
That's
it's
crazy.
beautiful. It's a great depiction of how when we have no memories, how we still have our human existence or like our primal idea. You know, all this stuff. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. It's beautiful. So I read it in a day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. So what's going to be keeping me home is The Last of Us because I can't wait to see it. And keeping me up.
I know what yours keeping you up.
What's keeping me up?
Someone's birthday.
Yeah. I have a toddler now.
Your birthday. You guys believe baby is 1.
That's crazy.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that keeps me up for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
anyways.
Anywho, stay
Stay
tipsy.
tipsy.
Oh, we'll read the next book, obviously. I feel like that's a no-brainer.
Sure.
And we'll post the chapters in the caption. Sound good? Bye.